Hey guys, welcome to another video। तो तुम्हारा बिटसैट हो गया है, होपफुली अच्छा हुआ है, बट काफी लोगों को ये जानना था कि एमएससी और डुअल डिग्री कैसे काम करता है। सो एज प्रॉमिस्ड मैं एक सीरीज निकाल रहा हूँ। दिस इज द फर्स्ट एपिसोड ऑफ दैट इन विच वील बी टॉकिंग अबाउट एमएससी फिजिक्स। We have Nikhil भैया with me, so he's kind of my guide and my mentor। इनके अंडर मैं एक प्रोजेक्ट भी कर रहा हूँ, so he's one of the super helpful and one of the like कह सकते सबसे अच्छे senior and सबसे knowledgeable too, who has guided me and helped me। So
Hi everyone. So I'm Nikhil Bist and I'm currently in my fourth year and मैं अभी MSc Physics plus BCS कर रहा हूँ. Although my main interest is towards physics only, and what my aim is to basically after my physics degree ends, I will be going for a PhD where I'll be probably working on something related to cosmological simulations, which require a good amount of knowledge of computer science as well. Because basically you will be writing codes which simulate the universe, which simulate galaxies and all that, and you will be running them on thousands of cores on supercomputers. So you should have a good knowledge of physics to write the code as well as CS. So that's basically what I'll be doing. And yeah, I'll be fourth year, so it's kind of like my last years. After this year, I'll be going for a thesis somewhere abroad. Not yet decided, but yeah, for my final year. And yeah, so that's basically it.
yeah, thanks. Anyways, yeah, if you could tell us about the courses that you took as a physics dualite and what is your CDCs?
Yeah, so I'll just share my screen now. So
Yeah.
there is this very amazing website. So I think you can see my screen now. So there's
Yeah.
this very amazing website that I'll ask Devansh to also link down on the comments and all. So which is called Physics Society WordPress, which is actually developed by people like my seniors in the past like 5-6 years. And so this website has a lot of things that any person who is interested in physics or will be taking MSc physics degree can essentially go to. So there is this one specific section of the site which is called academics, where you have the entire list of all the courses that you will be taking up in as part of a physics degree. So I mean there are a lot of things over here. I won't be going into that. What I'll be focusing on is this chart. So as you can see, so this is the chart which talks about what are the courses that you will be taking. So here on the bottom right corner, you can see there is a first year course colored label. So first year courses, second year courses, third year courses, and the electives. So the electives are the courses that you will be taking as per your choice. And the other ones are the ones that you have to compulsorily take when you are doing any semester. So I'll just go very briefly. I won't go into a lot of details because then you might even also get bored about it. So basically, the courses that you will be doing, I'll just zoom in, is firstly in your first year and second year, first semester, you will be doing these three courses called M1, M2, M3, which is basically your basic math courses, which will have linear algebra and then vector calculus and complex analysis and all the stuff that a person should know. And M3 is basically nothing but solving differential equations or linear like for first order and then higher orders and all that, partial differential equations, stuff like that. Also in your first year, you'll be doing your physics lab, which will be a handful of amazing experiments. You will be actually seeing experiments that you never were taught in your high school. So you will be taught about something called as like the gyroscopic effect and a lot of other cool things. And then there is a theoretical course which is MOW, which is a purely physics course. So this is taken by physics faculties only. This is all in your first year. Now after your first year ends, you will be having a basic knowledge of what all physics what is there in the basic fundamentals of physics. Then you will go one step ahead in your second year, where in your first semester you'll be having these courses: EMO lab, where you'll be doing again very very cool experiments. You might have heard something like the diffraction grating and the Newton ring effect and all those cool things you will actually be doing in the lab which is there on our campus. Then there is another course called classical mechanics, where you will be learning about two very important things, which are your Lagrangian mechanism formalism and Hamiltonian formalism. Then there is another course called optics, where you'll be learning, basically doing what you did in your 12th class, but at a higher level, at a more fundamental level, which would be having ray optics and your wave optics. And then there is another course which is called electromagnetic theory, where you'll be learning the basics of what you did, the Maxwell's equation and all in 12th, and then taking it one step ahead and doing it on a better scale, where you'll be doing much more generalized learning of the physics principles involved. This is just a 2-1, and then you will, for your second year, second sem, you'll be having some mathematical methods of physics, where you'll be doing some topics which are used for physicists, which are math involved. So something like boundary value problems and stuff like that. Then there is another again cool lab called modern physics lab. So um, all the experiments that you read about as part of a modern physics, a part that every teacher in your high school said that, oh, it is too advanced for you to go into deep. So that is something that you will be doing physically in your modern physics lab. Some of the things like you'll ask, there is one more experiment in modern physics lab where you'll actually be calculating the speed of light. Like there is an apparatus with which you can actually calculate the speed of light to a very high degree. So that is one experiment that we'll be doing, and there are others. Then again, one of the most fundamental part of physics called quantum mechanics, which is divided into two courses called Quantum Mechanics 1, and then in your third year you'll be doing Quantum Mechanics 2. And then there is another extension of the electromagnetic theory course that you did in your 2-1, which is EMT2, where you'll be learning about radiation and stuff like that. So this is basically what you will be doing in your second year. Then third year comes, and then we'll be having a more cooler courses like computational physics, where you'll be learning ways to solve differential equations, and actually equations that you cannot solve normally analytically, and you'll come to know about the computational ways to code, mostly in MATLAB or Python, on how to code and solve these equations. And then there is statistical mechanics, which is essentially dealing with the law of large, like basically large entity, large number of quantities. Then you have quantum mechanics 2, where you'll be learning all about something like perturbation theory. And then you'll be also having some more advanced physics lab, where there are a few experiments where you have to handle liquid nitrogen and stuff like that. So they are really cool experiments. Then you have solid state physics, again an amazing course which talks about the basis of solid state physics, atomic and molecular physics, and nuclear and particle physics. So these are basically the courses that you will be doing as compulsory courses. Now if you will come to know soon enough when you join BITS, that as part of your degree, like physics degree, you have to do all the compulsory courses obviously, and you have to do 5 DELs. DELs mean disciplinary electives, the electives that you want to choose out of, that you want to choose, basically something that you like to do, or something, if you want, then something which has an easier grade. So that is something that is there. So out of those, you have a lot of amazing DELs, and also DELs give you the option to go deeper into a course. So all these courses that I mentioned, they have a very they do go into depth of a subject, but they don't go into specific part of a subject. So basically you will be having something like advanced mathematical methods of physics, advanced electrodynamics, all that. But more or less the most courses that you have is something like general theory of relativity and special theory of relativity, which also should be here somewhere. So yeah, so basically you have a lot of these courses. So as you might have heard, Einstein developed the special and general theory of relativity in 1900s, 1905 and 1919, if I am not wrong. So you'll be learning and going very much into depth and very much up to date with what is happening right now of these courses, the GTOR and the special theory of relativity. Then you also have an amazing course called Intro to Quantum Field Theory, where you learn about quantum field theory, and it's something that you will be better able to understand once you actually come to bits and you do some basic courses like quantum mechanics and all. So these are all the courses that we have. We have group theory, we have advanced quantum mechanics, advanced solid state physics, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what all is there in the course department. So like I said, I'll ask Devansh to share the link, and there are a lot of things over here that you can see. So a detailed description of all these courses is also available if you are interested in that. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so amazing. Like मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है shit मैंने seriously एक गलती कर दी है सुनने के बाद. Okay, like amazing course description. So next up we have like what are the scope of your branch? So if I take MSc Physics plus
Right.
any other branch, let's say koi bhi le lo, so CS le lo, technical le lo. I know this is a very vague question. It also depends on the second branch that you have. But still, MSc Physics के साथ ऐसा क्या कौन-कौन सी fields, कौन-कौन से gates open हो जाते हैं? This is my second question.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is a very good question, because actually what happens is that everyone views MSc Physics as something like, okay, I have taken this degree, now whatever I learned from मुझे इससे जो भी सीखने को मिलता है, I can apply it somewhere. That is very much true, but there is one more very very important thing that you do when you are a part of when you are part of MSc Physics. That is, if you might know, then we have a scientific community around the world, and the scientific community has a very different mindset than the people who go into engineering and all these have. So whereas in the engineering community, a lot of time is devoted into developing things that will ultimately benefit either the company, or basically in the end there is a very big factor of financial status attached to it. So a lot of people who go for engineering branches, they mostly think in the context that, okay, I am doing this because I'll get a good package and then I'll get more money and all that.
Yeah.
The thing with scientific communities are, yeah, of course there is a financial lookout to it, but one more important aspect to it is that being a scientist or being a researcher, you have a discipline that you have to follow. You are doing whatever you are doing for the knowledge and not just the money. And the way to approach a problem, the way to tackle it, so you break it down into steps. You do, okay, how what if I do it this way, what if I do it that way? So that methodology of approaching a problem is something that you learn when you are doing MSc Physics. It's a very different approach than an engineer's approach, and that is something that you will definitely learn even if you're not interested in pursuing career in physics in the future. So that is one very important thing. And again, like I said, physics is used in a lot of places. There is a elective I forgot to mention called nonlinear dynamics and chaos theory. Now that elective in itself, also combined with the other courses that you do, is applied in a lot of places, like stock markets is there, and then you have environmental learning about how the environment changes over time. It is applied obviously in a lot of physics places as well. So that is something. And even in computer science, even people who are engineers, who are in electronics and stuff like that, they do stress analysis and all these things using nonlinear dynamics, like what kind of stress and all things that you can apply to your circuit, or to your, I mean, not just physical stress but also other types of stress like heat and all that, thermal stress and all that, and how will it break. So all these things can also be studied from a physics point of view, and that is something that is definitely there. So as far as the compatibility with other degrees are concerned, physics definitely goes with like CS. Like I said, my personal thing that I want to do in the future is something that involves both physics and CS. Then there are other fields as well. So physics plus any electronics branch is a very good combination, because you will understand the at the bilkul, like the smallest level pe what is happening, and you'll also be understanding how it is implemented in the industry. As then again, of course, mechanical is something. So if you do like something physics plus mechanical, then you will be doing a lot of courses in mechanical where you have physics only going on. So the microfluidics, fluid dynamics and all that stuff. And chemical also, so chemical and physics are also something that is there, where you can understand a lot of things using statistical mechanics and stuff like that.
The third question was basically कि आपको कितना free time मिलता है? How hectic is your branch? And let's say in your second year or like first year, okay guys, so if you don't know, first year में every branch, irrespective of if it's a dualite or a single degree guy, they have the same courses. So the difference of these time management and जो भी hectic बोलते हैं लोग, it comes from second year. So if you could show some light on that, it would be helpful.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, you have if you are a dual degree student and you have taken both the degrees, then you basically have 5 years. Now, first year, like Devan said, is same for everyone. Second year onwards, in second year, you'll be doing only physics courses and the electives that you want to do. Like I said, theory of relativity and stuff like that, nonlinear dynamics. There is again quantum information computing, a very amazing elective. So these are all the things that you'll be doing in your second year. So second year is basically just physics. So if you are interested in so there are two types of people, right? One who are very interested in the physics, and one who have just taken it for the second degree. So for both the people, you will have ample time to develop your own skill set in your second year. So if you're interested in physics, then obviously you'll be learning a lot in the classes, and then you can again do your other things, like if, for example, if you do want to sit for placements and stuff, then you will be doing competitive coding, you will be doing DSA and all those things, which obviously you'll be doing in your third year if you are a CS degree student. But if not, you have your second year to do all those things properly. You will have a lot of time. And everyone says, time management is very, very important, and second year and fourth year are the only 2 years where you will have the time to do the time management part. In the third year, basically you will be only having you'll be having both your physics degree as well as your second degree, be it CS, triple E, mechanical, whatever. And irrespective, I mean, obviously there is a chart that physics plus electronics is the most hectic in third year, any electronics branches, and physics plus CS comes close second, and then there are the others, mechanical and all. So third year will be definitely very, very hectic. So do keep aside and learn as much as you can, as many things as you can. Explore both your academic as well as co-curricular side in your second year, and that's good for it. So second year, and then obviously your fourth year will be the time when you have actually decided what you want to do in the future, and you are applying for those relevant parts, like, you know, giving TOEFL if you want to go abroad and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Thanks. And like the fourth question was काफी लोग यही पूछ रहे थे कि आपको, okay, for in your case you knew कि you had to take CS because of your future aspirations and all. So how exactly did you manage time in your first year? Any tips for the people who are just opting MSc because they want CS? So any tips for them?
So specifically for those people, so see, the thing is that first year, like I said, first year is the time where, again, I mean, apart from all the other 4 years, first year will be the time when you'll be the most free. Even in second year, you'll not be as free as you are in your first year, because in your second year, in your first year you'll be doing fewer number of courses, a fewer number of credits as compared to the other years. So the thing is basically that in your first year, you have the time to explore departments and stuff like that. But you also have the time to prepare yourself. You have to, irrespective of whether you like a course and you want to study the course or not, irrespective of what your inner feelings are, if you do want CS, sorry, if you do want CS, you'll have to grind and do those courses. So because the only your first year CG will be the deciding factor on whether you get a CS or not. Now, depending on year wise, the cutoffs are there. So usually the cutoffs are something like, if I remember correctly, something like 7.7 plus is the cutoff for getting CS dual degree. Now it may seem that at first glance, I mean, see, everyone when they join the college, they are like, oh yeah, I mean, 10th mein to mere 9.8 or 10th, 12th maybe I got really good percentage. So it should not be that difficult to get a good CGPA like 9 or something in 8 or 9 or something in bits. That is not the case. Why? Because तब grading अलग होती थी. यहाँ पे you have relative grading. It depends on who your other people are. It does not mean कि, like, you know, just jump on their throats, but it means that you have to put the effort from your side as well. So that is there. And one thing I would definitely recommend, irrespective of the scenario, whether the prof is good or not, or whatever be the case, do attend all the classes and try to make notes. That is something that I did in my first year, and I didn't really put much effort. Okay, I just so this is something I know about myself, that I have a good grasping capacity. So I just went to the classes and I didn't study much aside. So I was able to get a decent GPA in my first year. And
decent CG पे. Sorry to interrupt guys. इनकी CG पे guess करो जरा, comments में guess करो. चलो ठीक है. Last में मैं ऐसा CG पे reveal करके डाल दूँगा. Guess करना, इनकी CG पे guess करना है इस part पे, ठीक है?
Yeah, so basically just going to the classes and all, and making proper notes, and just discussing with my peers on, you know, what the course is about and stuff like that. So I was able to get a good CGPA in my first year. And that is the thing, just attend classes. That is very, very important. A lot of people just skip classes, the attendance drops down drastically, and that is not a good thing, especially in your first year. At least try to get a feel for the course before you disregard the course, whether it is important or not. That's my piece of advice, I would say.
Totally makes sense. Also CG पे बता दो जरा अपनी.
So I mean, first year में, by the end of first year, I had something, I think around 9.3 के आसपास थी. Right now, due to third year and all those things, अभी it's somewhere around 9.2. So yeah, I mean, able to manage. So that I can go for a good place for PhD.
Yeah,
That is there.
makes sense. Yeah. I think.
So yeah, I mean, see, basically the thing is you have to devote your time. ऐसा नहीं कि you just सोचते रहो and नहीं होगा आगे future में. So that is something. Also, first year is also the time when you know more, learn more about yourself. Try to figure out what kind of a person you are. Whether you are the kind of person who has to put in hard work, or if you can, get a good grasp of concepts very fast. Because I know a lot of friends of mine who struggled hard to get a CGP of 8.5, even though they put a lot of effort for the course. That is there. Everyone has their merits and demerits. You have to figure out what those are in your first year and rectify them as you learn. That is a very important quality, irrespective of what you are doing.
Yeah, totally makes sense. सही है. और कुछ आपको बताना है कुछ? I think.
Or so basically, see, the thing is that right now, see, I am also the president of the physics society. So I mean, for my third year, so due to COVID, we didn't have a re-election. So I am kind of still continuing my tenure since like 1.5 years. So basically, as I have seen with other associations, so we have every department that like MSc Physics, Chemical, Bio, and all that. Even single degree, mechanical, CS, electronics, they have a representative, they have a secretary, they have a president, they have an association. And all those people have a network of seniors. So whatever branch you get, whatever place branch you go into, try to contact the seniors. Obviously, we will be having sessions on campus as well. If we get to on campus, we will have sessions, and we will be guiding you all the way through your first year, second year, even third year. Even when we graduate, we will be in contact with you guys and we'll be guiding you all. So that is the interaction between seniors and juniors, and even among peers, is something that BITS has very, very strongly. So I would really suggest, make use of that, exploit it as much as you can, because we are there for you to talk to about anything, be it a personal issue, be it an academic issue.
हाँ, एग्जांपल यही वीडियो देख लो ना. आई डिडंट नो एनी किसको मैं पूछूं, तो मैंने सीधा निखिल भाई को कांटेक्ट किया, एंड ही वाज लाइक मोर देन ही हैड अ T1 like at 5 o'clock and he's with me at 6 o'clock. तो काफी ज्यादा हेल्पफुल है यार, क्या ही बोलूं.